Welcome to Shorty's SuperCoach and welcome to the weekend preview. Now, I do have to get something off my chest in a minute. We'll do that shortly. I just wanted to touch on a couple of points and then we'll delve into what's been on Shorty's mind. But just looking at the teams, there's nothing really that groundbreaking. I mean, you know, Josh Kelly's back. That might be something to monitor. I'm just sort of scrolling through now. I had a look before. There didn't seem too much of interest. A couple of debutants by looks of it for the Tigers. Ollie Wines is back, obviously. Gaff is back in town. Taylor Adams is back in. That's good for my draft team. And then we've just, you know, a couple of big outs for Hawthorn. Not SuperCoach relevant. And Wingard is in. Also good for my draft team. And Jack Stephen managed. I'm not exactly sure what that's about, but that potentially could be concerning. But nonetheless, what should we be thinking about right now? 2 rounds in, the prices are about to change. It's pretty simple. We know the drill. Try and make any sort of correctional trades that you need to do. You know, have you missed a rookie? Do you not have Willem Drew? Do you not have Dersma or Constable or someone like that? Don't just pick a rookie that's been going okay unless you've got a guy who's not playing. You know, maybe Marty Hoare isn't in and you're like, gee whiz, you know, I want to jump on board one of these other guys. I understand that. But don't sort of go chasing, you know, if you've got a rookie who's going well, you know, don't sort of upgrade him to another rookie because it's so tough to predict rookie scores. So don't burn a trade sort of sideways action for a rookie. But if you missed out on someone, you know, one of those real lock-in, they're averaging in the 80s or 90s, you know, Parker's been really good. You know, get them in. And on the flip side, if you've taken a chance on someone and it's not working, you know, and you've really got a bad vibe about it, then I would suggest now's your time, because you do have to be pretty callous about it and pretty cold, but we would love to have a month of a chance to sort of look at these players. But you only get 2 weeks before things start to change, you know, and it might be a matter of 20k, it might be a matter of 60 or 70k when one guy goes up and one guy goes down. You know, that combined effect could really hurt. But that's basically the message this week. I would also be putting the VC on Paddy Dangerfield or Oliver would be my suggestion over the next couple of days. But look, correctional trades, you missed a rookie, get them before they go up in price. If you're having doubts, you know, make it happen now. You might give them 1 more week if you're really on the fence. But things start to change. So if someone's got a high break even and the other guy you're looking at's got a low one, then financially you're not going to be as good next week as you could have been this week if you pulled the trigger 1 week earlier. But there's always that risk that pulling the trigger after 2 weeks and turns out to be the wrong call. So it's a horses for courses. You got to trust your gut and really back in what you think. But here I am handing out wise advice when I am considering breaking one of my rules. And here's my confession. Where has my head been out over the last couple of days? Dustin Martin is the central figure in this discussion. Now, obviously, he had a poor week last week. He was tagged out by Greenwood. Scored 100 in the first week, but I think we can all agree I didn't think it was an amazing game. He did turn the ball over quite a bit, So it hasn't been the start of the season that we wanted from Martin. Now, I don't know about you guys, but my basis of picking Dusty was a return to the top spot on the ladder for the Tigers. You know, a really good home and away season. You know, I know they had a great home and away season last year, but I just felt that there would be a real chip on the shoulder. Let's get back to the top of the mountain, and it'd be led by Dusty, Cochin, Rance, Rewald, all these guys that we know. We haven't seen that over the first couple of weeks. It's been the opposite. It's been carnage for Richmond. And look, I must say, I do not want to trade out Dustin Martin purely on the fact that he scored a 60-odd last week. That's not what I'm pressing the panic button about. Rewalt going out adds some concern. You know, does Martin play forward more? Well, Caddy, well, actually, is he back in? Caddy is far closer than I thought, and so he's not in. Okay, so certainly 1 week, Martin may play forward a little bit more, but Caddy won't be far away. Are they going to be as good as they have been? Is this when we see Richmond drop off a bit after a glorious run with injury? Are they going to drop off? And as we often seen, it doesn't matter how good a player you are. If your overall team is struggling, it can be tough to shine through. And I need Dusty getting back to close to the 2017 stuff. I don't expect those numbers, but we need 110 plus. And this start of the season, it's had me worried. And we know who I've been pumping up all pre-season and I didn't go with. Tom Rockliff. Now, I know you've probably all just screamed out in disgust, but Rockliff has runs on the board. I've said it all before. He's got runs on the board. He's looking really good, and I can hear you. Ollie Wines is back, Shorty. What are you doing? I don't think it's going to change it that much. I think when Rockliff's playing this good, why would you be changing it? I think guys like Ebert, Boak's playing a slightly different role. Port Adelaide don't have a super deep midfield. I can't see Rockliff going too far. Now, the scoring history is a concern of mine. Dustin Martin, I've got a little bit of cold feet, you know. I backed him in to return to some of his best form, but we haven't seen it early. And there's a bit of a stink about Richmond, and all of a sudden I have some concerns over his position. So there's a couple of question marks. If Dusty was, if Richmond are winning, he's just got tagged once, Rewalt's still there, Lynch is there, I'm not worried. He'll bounce back. It's fine. But all of a sudden it's like, well, where's he going to spend most of his time? What sort of structure are the Tigers going to do? Is this where we see, just a poor run of form before the Tigers get it together? Is he a super premium? Because we have only seen it once before. We've seen 108, 105, but we've only seen the one big one. Now, Rockliff's done 110 plus a couple of times. Now, this is where I start to get my arm twisted. Now, I'm scrolling around and I mentioned rookies that you've missed. Luke Davies-Uniacke, really good start of the season. I mentioned him in a couple of pre-season videos. Top 10 pick. Was he a top 5 pick? If he wasn't, he was pretty close. Inside mid, we all had high hopes for him last year. He didn't quite produce, but I think this year he started really well. I think an 80, 118, playing through the middle, high contested numbers, and particularly last week where he turned up. And North Melbourne aren't on fire yet either. Now, look, I will say North Melbourne, I think Ahern has come back into the side, or at least extended bench style. Ahern and Anderson is also there. Now, both those guys are on the bench, so is Dom Tyson. So, look, one would imagine that probably only 2 of Ahern, Tyson and Anderson can play, and Dumont for that matter. So, I'm not sure. There might only be 1 extra mid, but maybe they're loving what Davies-Uniacke is doing. If you're a North Melbourne man out there, please comment and tell me your thoughts on him. Or if you're just a general footy watcher, I haven't seen North play yet. I haven't got a good insight to where he's actually rolling, but his numbers look really good. Anyway, I got off topic. Michael Gibbons, he's just not setting the world on fire, is he? Now, I really like him as a prospect. It's a romantic story, but at the moment he's just playing a role that it's real sort of 55 to 65 average stuff, and I'm just not sure. I know he's cheap as chips, but I want some fast coin, Do you ever play Age of Empires back in the day? This is a loose analogy, but you wanted to just start getting the wood, getting the food, getting your gold quicker than all the other guys so you could just start building up before everyone else could upgrade and get through the Stone Age, blah, blah, blah. I want to be getting as much coin flowing as I can early in the season so I can do my own upgrades, premium style, get that extra premium or 2 before other people in the competition. The only way you can do that is by getting the best averaging rookies and players that are going up in price. So Davies-Uniacke ticks that box. So at the moment I'm umming and ahhing, but the temptation is out Martin and Gibbons, in Rockliff, Davies-Uniacke. Now, the risk is obvious. Rockliff starts to go poorly. I don't see much of a risk with Davies-Uniacke. Obviously, his scoring could drop off, but he's going to rise up in price a pretty reasonable amount anyway. And I feel as if I feel his ceiling is fairly low. Again, it's tough to predict, but that's a gut feel. Sometimes you got to go with it. The proof will be in the Rockcliffe pudding, how he goes. Now, Martin could come out and score 150, and all of a sudden I'm just, kicking myself. But worst case scenario, the bailout option, even if it does go poorly, Rockcliffe has such a low break even, he will be going up in price regardless. And I fear that his old team, Brisbane, is going to apply a serious tag to him out of spite. But anyway, he'll be going up in price. If worse came to worse and he comes out and he scores a 75 and an 80, and I've got egg all over my face, if that's the worst case scenario, probably Stephen Cornelio's probably dropped a fair bit by then. And Rockcliffe would have gone up at least 60 or 70,000. It's not a disaster. It's a couple of or at least one wasted trade. But where I'm at the minute, I'm going to pull that trigger. I think. It'll pocket me an extra 60 odd K, just naturally. And there is a lot of scope for improvement. And what if Rockcliffe's back? I know we all hate to say it and hate to think it, but what if he's back? You wouldn't want to miss that boat. So all the best for this week. I hope you make some intelligent trades, and I hope I do too. We'll only be able to see that one in hindsight. But all the best. I'll be back to review my side, hopefully Sunday night. Hopefully I haven't been able to the last couple of weeks, but hopefully Sunday night is the aim. Good luck, and I'll be back soon. Cheers.